Ascent Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Real-Time Leadership. Find your winning moves when the stakes are high. By David Noble and Carol Kauffman. Narrated by Rebecca Lamb. Publisher's note. This audiobook has bonus material. Please contact whomever you purchase this audiobook from to request the material. All figures and tables referenced in this audiobook can be found in the bonus material. Foreword. David Noble and Carol Kauffman are two of the most accomplished executive coaches in the world. While many coaches call themselves CEO coach, few have actually worked with top CEOs in major companies. David and Carol have decades of experience working with great leaders from incredibly diverse organizations. Real-time leadership gives you a fascinating behind-closed-doors view of what executive coaching is really like, based on their invaluable experience and wisdom. The MOVE framework detailed in this book has been extremely helpful to me in my own coaching practice and in my own life. Be mindfully alert. I am a philosophical Buddhist and have studied Buddhism for more than 50 years. Carol taught me one question that, to me, captures the essence of Buddhism better than any I have ever heard. I share this question with my coaching and leadership development clients every day. Am I being the person I want to be right now? The section on mindfulness captures the essence of how we can remain mindful and present in a world filled with seemingly endless distractions. On many days, I need this help more than my clients do. Generate options. Busy leaders tend to be impatient. I am no different. We usually feel a need to quickly come up with a solution and move on. This section explains the value of carefully weighing alternatives before leaping into action. A little reflection in the beginning can eliminate a lot of grief in the end. Although I found this section quite helpful in my coaching practice, I found it even more helpful in planning my own life. Validate your vantage point. Possibly the most unique section of the book. Our perception of what is really going on here is often warped by factors outside of our awareness. Learning how our views can be distorted and how to overcome this distortion can be immensely valuable in a real-time leadership challenge. Every situation does not require the same degree of urgency or understanding. Learning when a high-def view is needed, as opposed to when a grainy view is good enough, can help leaders save time and focus on what matters most. I have never had this concept explained so clearly. Engage and effect change. The biggest challenge leaders face isn't understanding the practice of leadership. It's practicing their understanding of leadership. David and Carol provide practical advice on not only how to effect change, but also how to scale change to create an impact throughout the organization. This section is especially important for entrepreneurs, who can be wonderful at creating the business, yet terrible at scaling it. David and Carol also skillfully apply their work to two major real-time challenges every leader faces. The first challenge is stepping into a new role. These chapters provide a new and valuable take on those first 90 days and beyond. The second challenge is surviving disruption, and, more important, creating disruption. How to do it, and how to use it to innovate and make a positive impact. This book isn't just about being successful. It is about becoming an extraordinary leader and human being. In a very positive way, Real-Time Leadership is a dense book. Some books can be criticized for being one chapter replicated 15 times. Not this book. There is no filler. Each chapter provides fresh and valuable insights to help you face your biggest leadership challenges. David and Carol are among the world's greatest leadership coaches. Very few people can hire them for one-on-one coaching. That is, their unique two-on-one coaching. Thanks to this book, we can all learn from them and immediately apply that learning, both at work and at home. This book has helped me. I am sure it can help you too. Marshall Goldsmith. Introduction. Why move? Anyone can hold the helm when the sea is calm. Publilius Syrus. This book is not about calm seas. We devote this book to handling high-stakes, high-risk leadership challenges, the ones you have to manage in real time as they unfold, whether you need to face them this moment, this month, or over the long term. They're challenges that may be unfamiliar to you and that could lead to a prize, or to peril. Getting your leadership right in these high-stakes, high-risk situations could be the difference between winning and losing, between the company surviving and perishing, between your career accelerating and faltering, between feeling fulfilled by your successes or experiencing only hollow victories. The Gulfstream G650 touched down at Westchester County Airport in New York early on a clear March morning, carrying a single passenger. Matt stepped off the plane and into a waiting car for the short drive to Greenwich, Connecticut. A hotel suite was booked so that he could work with us, David and Carol, for the day without interruption. Matt was a top executive in a Fortune 50 company. A new CEO would be named within the next week, and Matt had been the odds-on favorite candidate. But he was in trouble and needed to talk. The previous day, he'd bombed his interview with the board's Nominating and Governance Committee, or NomGov. Upset, Matt recounted for us how, as he made his pitch to NomGov, he saw doubt in the faces of the committee members. He doubled his efforts, but only felt the tension increase, washing through the room like a wave. By the time the Q&A started, Matt could feel the committee's frustration and knew he was underwater. He left unsure of himself. What Matt sensed was real, and he was right to be worried. He didn't know it at the time, but the committee had shifted to favor an external candidate with a well-known personal brand. That candidate had made a stronger case and gained an inside track on the job. Matt had one more chance to make his case, in front of the full board the next day. The NomGov chair had called us in to help Matt make the most of his last shot. If Matt had known our leadership framework MOVE, he would have been able to scan through that committee meeting in real time and change the course of the situation. He would have been able to read what was happening and identify the best response to those tough moments. Better yet, he could have prevented the interview from taking a disastrous turn entirely. We couldn't go back in time to fix the situation, but we were motivated and prepared to help Matt avoid a repeat the next day. You will hear more about his journey next. What challenges are you facing right now? Storms can kick up at any moment within the company and outside, and sometimes both at once. In such fierce gales, facing rogue waves, can you hold the helm? A startup founder we worked with described the experience of his first funding round as a tornado of fire and sharks. Can you keep standing through that? You can. A good captain reads roiling seas well, remaining calm and determining an optimal path through the chop. Doing so requires constantly monitoring for changing conditions and adroitly ensuring the crew is aligned and operating at peak performance. This book will help you become that kind of captain, so that you can remain even-keeled acutely read the situation, move beyond your basic reflex, and respond in the best way possible. To accomplish this, we need to help you create space between the challenges that are thrown at you and how you react. Making optimal choices in real time is possible. The key to doing it lies in the wisdom Viktor Frankl shared after surviving 3 years in 4 concentration camps during World War II. In between every stimulus and response, there is a space, he said, and in that space is our freedom to choose. Every step of our framework helps you find, open, and use that space well. Our evidence-based approach and decades of experience have shown us how the best leaders do this, and we've been privileged to join some of them on their journeys. We'll show you how to weather any storm by following our MOVE framework. M. Be mindfully alert. Find the space to be attuned to the 3 dimensions of leadership so that you are clear about your high-priority goals, which character strengths and skills you want to cultivate as a leader, and how best to relate to others to accomplish your goals. O. Generate options. You want at least 4 pathways forward and 4 ways to win and make either whip-fast or slow, thoughtful decisions in real time. V. Validate your vantage point. Check your take on reality and choose the best point of view. E. Engage and effect change. Do this first as an individual, then at scale, or all else is moot. When it's your move, you move. Get these 4 principles right, master this framework, and you'll succeed. This book is a crash course. You are going to meet many of the amazing leaders we have worked with and experience how they successfully moved through the most challenging times in their leadership together with us, using this framework. People like Stevie, who was tasked with transforming the core of her company to compete more effectively in the future, starting with a painful reduction in workforce. Cheryl, who stepped in as CEO to grow a company 10 times the size of anything she had previously led, by building out adjacencies in product lines and geographies, leading a digital transformation, and seeding potential moonshots. Marcus, the brilliant, results-oriented head of a massive energy company, who was losing followership in his team and possibly compromising his recent appointment to the CEO role. Akash, the analytical chief operating officer who almost micromanaged his way out of his job. Amanda, a CEO who felt so pressured to grow her business that she almost went after an impulse acquisition that would have led to catastrophe. Arya, the chief executive of a non-governmental organization who was on the verge of being pushed out by the board. Leo, a scientist who was a subject matter expert and became lost when he was promoted to become a leader of leaders. And many more. While we typically work at the top of the house, the lessons we've learned apply to nearly everyone. Great leadership has evolved. It's flatter, faster, and more fluid than ever. Executives face waves of mega crises, and what worked yesterday doesn't work today. We designed our framework to be flexible enough to be of service to you no matter what your challenge is. It can be a lifeline for you when the stakes are at the highest. Welcome to the private world where real-time leadership happens. How we help. We have taken our tens of thousands of hours of working with top leaders and distilled them into advice and coaching that can be helpful to you. Chapters 1 through 11 walk you through our overall framework as well as each of its 4 elements in depth. You'll hear how to focus your efforts, find multiple ways to navigate your challenges, identify techniques to validate your choices, and implement best practices to effect change. Then, we take you on a journey we have taken with many newly minted CEOs and other C-suite leaders, guiding them as they stepped into a new level of leadership and faced more intense challenges than ever before. In chapters 12 and 13, we discuss specific ways to apply the MOVE framework when taking on a high-pressure new job. We go further and deeper than the first 90 days acceleration programs, which really just focus on table stakes. We discuss how to apply the MOVE framework to grab opportunities and avoid pitfalls. Once you have the job, big challenges follow. In chapters 14 and 15, we examine how you can tackle what we call 10x challenges. These are big, thorny goals that you set to supercharge the company's performance, perhaps greatly accelerating growth, completing a turnaround, or charting a path for achieving innovative disruption. We note how to meet the strategic and execution challenges to create massive value while at the same time detecting and containing risks that could be fatal to your company and your career. Those 10x challenges can be scary stuff, but pulling them off with your team is what makes you distinctive as a leader. Chapter 16 describes shortcuts that you can take in some situations by doubling down strategically on one or two aspects of the MOVE framework to drive peak performance. Finally, in our conclusion, we help you get above it all so that you can lead in real time all the time and go from being a great to an extraordinary leader. We'll explore how to sustain and renew growth as a leader over the long term, which is a hallmark of all extraordinary leaders. The executives we work with take pride in having a growth mindset and are always challenging themselves to become better. They relish being at the edge of their expertise, becoming more agile and able to shift to new leadership styles as requirements change. It is easy to feel lost here, but transformation is always close at hand. When you are at the top of your game, it can be disorienting as you wonder, what's next? Can I really do this? After all, you've never been in that place before. Yet, that's what success feels like, and you must get comfortable with that feeling to stay at the top. Quick question. How important is your personal development? Quick answer. In a recent survey by Egon Zehnder of nearly 1,000 CEOs representing a total annual revenue of $4 trillion, 90% said that personal transformation was necessary before succeeding in organizational transformation. In the same survey, 3 years earlier, only 30% said personal transformation was key. Times have changed, and so must you. In this book, we share what we have learned, and we also pull back the curtain to bring you into some of the real-life coaching scenarios we've been through. Personal development and business acumen are intertwined with how you choose to lead. You'll see our leaders at high-stakes moments, and we'll take you into their heads and hearts as you hear our conversations. While we have shortened actual dialogues, we have faithfully maintained the intent of the speakers in all cases. But we've changed identifying details and, at times, merged two similar clients together to protect their privacy. The work we do with leaders helps them drive advantage in the marketplace, and no one wants to give that away. MOVE is your playbook. Dive in. It takes practice to master, but you can immediately apply some or all the principles. Go through step by step, or just jump into what you need right now. Expand or contract as you need, either at hyperspeed or through deep work over days, months, or even the rest of your career. Truly immersing yourself in the MOVE framework will help you on your journey to sustaining peak performance and life satisfaction over the long term. It is our hope that you come back to it again and again, and it is our desire to help you become as successful and fulfilled as you can imagine. Why listen to us? We are recognized as two of the world's top leadership advisors and coaches. Together, we bring complementary perspectives and expertise, offering a unique combination of insights and capabilities. For both of us, the best moments in our careers have been when we have helped others unlock and act on breakthroughs in how they view the world, their professional roles, and themselves. David brings a rare trifecta of leadership, strategic, and operating lenses based on over 3 decades of experience as an operating executive as well as a consultant to senior leaders. He has been an executive at 2 of the world's best-run financial institutions, holding positions as varied as a head of strategy and the CEO of the world's first digital bank. He spent several years in leadership roles at 2 global strategy consultancies, followed by a decade as a senior advisor at Egon Zehnder, the world's largest private partnership devoted to the leadership advisory and search, as well as other top firms. Thinkers 50 has named him one of the world's top coaches. His personal purpose is to help leaders get to clarity and growth where and when they most need it. Carol has trained thousands of psychologists, coaches, and leaders through award-winning programs she developed as part of the faculties of Harvard Medical School and Henley Business School. She is a senior leadership advisor at Egon Zehnder. Thinkers 50 shortlisted her as one of the top 8 coaches in the world, and Marshall Goldsmith named her as the #1 leadership coach globally. She believes advisory work and coaching should be enjoyable, energizing, and a lifeline in times of need. Her personal purpose is to be a conduit of joy and a sword of truth to care for and challenge the powerful, and to galvanize their goodness and become extraordinary. Our differences complement each other. David has a brain built on frameworks and models that he leverages and/or creates. Pattern recognition, logic, and deductive thinking inform his intuition. Carol comes from the position of an inductive and emergent thinker, with extensive experience in pattern recognition and decades of immersion in research and the scientific method. She uses theory and intuition to develop frameworks and models. Why 2 coaches with 1 leader? When a CEO calls for outside help with, say, corporate strategy, how often does one lone advisor show up? Never. Why should this be different when you are working on leadership issues at the top of the house? While the 2 of us each have our own clients, we often team up because we found that combining our particular strengths has an outsized impact. We realized how powerful merging our experience and specific expertise would be, especially for the most complex leadership challenges, mostly by chance. Carol was coaching Marcus, the new CEO of a Fortune 100 energy company, who was frustrated as his vision of shifting operating models to a single, global approach had met deep resistance. Regional heads were not only digging in their heels and defending their turf, but also were working to undermine and upstage one another. Marcus and Carol had made great progress on emotion self-regulation and social intelligence to manage his frustration, but the team still wouldn't budge on supporting the strategy. Meanwhile, David had been working with Marcus's team on their strategy. One day, David passed by the glass-walled office where Marcus was sitting with Carol. She stopped the session and invited David to join. David asked how Marcus felt the transformation was going. When Marcus shared his frustration about the team's intransigence, David asked him how well he had articulated where he wanted the company to go, briefly mentioning the concept of leader's intent, which we explore later in the book. Marcus said he might not have explained his intent well enough. David also asked him why he thought the strategy was the right direction for the organization. Marcus's answer showed that he had his strategic thinking down cold. But then, David asked whether Marcus had clarity on how decisions should be made, who was accountable for what, and which milestones he had identified for verifying progress. David's awareness of what the team was feeling helped Marcus see that while he had taken the first step and nailed the strategy, he had done little to address these other important issues. We immediately saw how we could coach Marcus together to further assist with his interpersonal priority, which was to get his team working with him, as well as with sharpening the clarity of his communication and instituting structures for executing the strategy and spotting any signs of bottlenecks or conflicts. Together, we helped Marcus quickly bring his team into alignment, and as we continued to work with him and our other clients, we worked with each other to combine our experience in psychology, strategy, and operating roles to craft the MOVE framework. So effective has the combination of our experience been that even when we do one-on-one work with our separate clients, we consult with each other to make sure we're bringing the best the two of us have to offer. What's next? That's it. We're ready to start. Before we do, however, we need to be clear. One aspect of leadership that we know is crucial goes beyond success in the marketplace. We aim to help those we work with, and you, as our listener, not only become more effective in managing even the toughest of challenges, but also rise to a higher plane of leadership, characterized by curiosity, openness, kindness, and generosity. These qualities aren't just skills. They are part of you. Whether you realize it or not, they emanate from you and supercharge the impact of what you say and do as a leader. Fostering these qualities not only fosters peak performance, it also leads to the highest levels of engagement, job satisfaction, and overall well-being for you, your team, and potentially everyone in your organization. Who you are is as much at the core of your leadership as what you do. Some of you who just heard that last paragraph felt it resonate with your hopes for yourself. You're eager to learn more about how we can help you reach that pinnacle. Others of you may have rolled your eyes at what you perceive as naive, feel-good mumbo-jumbo. We've worked with many leaders who've expressed their view that leading through fear and scorched earth aggression is the key to winning. We've heard, "I don't just win, I destroy my competition," or "I don't get ulcers, I give them," and many similar sentiments. Sure, we've all read about and maybe worked for leaders who've achieved impressive success with that mindset. But we ask, at what cost? The cost is to their well-being, that of their teams, and often also that of their loved ones at home, as well as the additional cost of foregoing still grander achievements. We have seen that leaders can be ultra-competitive and demand extraordinary effort from themselves and others, while at the same time being kind. We'll show you how these traits that you may be scoffing at now will make you a stronger and more fulfilled leader. We've also seen some of our most hard-nosed leaders transform, finding themselves just as successful but much happier. Let's start working toward that now. 1. How to move. If I'm an advocate for anything, it's
Sample complete. Ready to continue?